Have you ever wondered what lies beneath the confident veneer of narcissists? This video unveils the 10 secrets that make them shiver. Join us as we explore the hidden vulnerabilities of even the most self-assured individuals. Whether you're dealing with a narcissist or simply intrigued by their inner workings, get ready for eye-opening insights into what makes them tremble beneath their confident facade. 1. Narcissists fear exposure. Narcissists fear exposure because it unveils their carefully crafted false self, which they've constructed to shield themselves from deep-seated shame and inadequacy. This false self often includes a belief in their unique superiority, making any exposure a direct threat to their self-esteem. The prospect of humiliation is a dreaded scenario, and they will go to great lengths to protect their image. Exposing a narcissist is akin to declaring war, as they fiercely defend their false self, using defense mechanisms like denial and projection. Their reputation and control are at stake, and they'll fight back vigorously to maintain the facade they've built. 2. Narcissists fear your indifference. Indifference is a nightmare for narcissists, as it robs them of the attention, adoration, and dominance they crave. They hold a grandiose self-image and expect others to confirm it, so indifference directly challenges their self-esteem and authority, often resulting in what psychologists term a narcissistic injury, triggering defensive responses and anger. The gray rock method, on the other hand, entails becoming emotionally unresponsive towards narcissists. By adopting an uninteresting and unreactive demeanor, you withhold the emotional fuel they require, rendering yourself an unattractive target. This strategy establishes clear boundaries, minimizes conflicts, and safeguards your mental well-being. Renowned psychologists such as Dr. Ramani Durvasula and Dr. Craig Malkin endorse this approach as an effective means of dealing with narcissists. 3. Narcissists fear being held responsible for their actions. Narcissists have a deep fear of taking responsibility for their actions. Psychologists suggest that this fear stems from their fragile self-esteem and the need to maintain a perfect self-image. When confronted about their mistakes, they often deflect blame onto others or use defense mechanisms like gaslighting to protect their ego rather than apologizing. This behavior is rooted in their deep-seated insecurity and the belief that admitting fault makes them less perfect. 4. Narcissists fear not being in a leading position or center of attraction. Narcissists are terrified of not being in a leading position or at the center of attention. Dr. Ramani Durvasula explains that narcissists thrive on admiration and validation, which they get when in control and the spotlight. This grandiose narcissism makes them see themselves as superior to others. However, it's a blow to their ego when they have to report to someone higher up. They have fragile self-esteem beneath their bravado, and any threat to their image of superiority triggers insecurity. So, narcissists go to great lengths in their careers to reach the top positions. They want to influence others without anyone telling them what to do or diminishing their sense of superiority. Hello everyone. It may come as a surprise that, so far, 80% of our viewers haven't subscribed. If you find this educational video engaging, please consider subscribing and giving it a thumbs up. Your support greatly benefits us. Now, let's continue, shall we? 5. Narcissists fear failure. Narcissists fear failure profoundly due to their oversized egos masking deep insecurities. Psychologists like Karen Horney and Sigmund Freud say narcissism often stems from an underlying dread of inadequacy and fragile self-esteem. When confronted with failure, narcissists rarely accept responsibility, instead blaming external factors to shield their idealized self-image. This behavior aligns with the self-enhancement bias described by psychologist Shelley Taylor, where they maintain an excessively optimistic self-view and incessantly seek validation. This intense fear of failure can significantly affect personal and professional relationships. It makes narcissists resistant to admitting mistakes, manipulative in their interactions, and challenging to collaborate. Recognizing and addressing their fear of failure is crucial to effectively navigating interactions with narcissists. 6. Narcissists fear rejection and abandonment. Narcissists are deeply afraid of rejection and abandonment. Dr. Ramani Durvasula explains that narcissists often have low self-esteem beneath their grandiose facade. They rely on constant admiration to uphold their self-image. When someone rejects or abandons them, it shatters their fragile ego, leaving them vulnerable. Additionally, rejection threatens to unveil their imperfections, undermining the flawless image they've carefully constructed. So, while they might seem to move on quickly, it's often a defense mechanism to hide their deep-seated insecurities and emotional turmoil. 7. Narcissists fear accurate criticism. Narcissists have a knack for dishing out criticism, but can't handle receiving it themselves. Psychologists explain that this fear of accurate criticism stems from their fragile self-esteem and a deep-rooted desire for self-enhancement. When criticized, they typically respond with a three-stage reaction. First, there's narcissistic rage, where they get angry. Then they play the victim with narcissistic injury, feeling wounded. Finally, they employ a narcissistic flip, by deflecting criticism and finding something to criticize you for instead. This pattern can make interactions with narcissists challenging, requiring a nuanced approach to communication. 8. Narcissists fear losing control. Narcissists' intense fear of losing control is intricately tied to their underlying insecurities and fragile self-esteem. As psychologists like Sigmund Freud and Erik Erikson noted, they create a false self-image to shield themselves from feelings of unworthiness and inadequacy. In their eyes, losing control means their carefully constructed facade of grandiosity and perfection will crumble, a concept described as narcissistic injury by Dr. Ramani Durvasula. This fear drives them to maintain a tight grip on their environment, relationships, and public image, often resorting to manipulation and defensiveness. 9. Narcissists fear intimacy. Narcissists, despite their craving for attention and admiration, fear true intimacy. This fear arises because intimacy demands vulnerability, authenticity, and empathy, areas where narcissists typically struggle. They've built protective walls around themselves to shield their fragile egos, and admitting flaws or weaknesses feels like tearing down those defenses. Maintaining a flawless image is everything to them, making intimacy's requirement of revealing their true selves a terrifying prospect. Psychologists like Dr. Craig Malkin and Dr. Ramani Durvasula emphasize that narcissists often lack empathy, a crucial element of intimacy. Understanding and connecting with others' emotions isn't their strong suit, making engaging in the emotional depth required for true intimacy challenging. So, while they may desire relationships on the surface, the prospect of genuine intimacy is like a deer caught in headlights for narcissists. 10. Narcissists fear losing the trappings of youth and success and death. Narcissists often harbor a deep fear of aging, the loss of success, and even death. This fear stems from their insatiable need for external validation. As they age, the prospect of losing their looks, careers, and the admiration they receive becomes increasingly distressing. Somatic narcissists fixated on physical appearance are especially vulnerable, as they may feel they have nothing left to offer when their looks fade. Cerebral narcissists, who pride themselves on intellectual prowess or career success, face a harsh reality when their mental faculties decline or they retire. Additionally, narcissists fear death, not for typical reasons, but because they worry about losing control and their carefully crafted reputations. They fear being forgotten or having their greatness overshadowed by others after they're gone. This fear of posthumous attacks on their character or legacy adds to their anxiety. Diving into the psyche of narcissists reveals a complex web of fears that shape their behavior. Whether it's the dread of exposure, the torment of indifference, the aversion to accountability, or the terror of losing control, narcissists grapple with vulnerabilities hidden beneath their self-assured facade. They fear rejection, failure, criticism, and abandonment, often reacting defensively to protect their fragile egos. The prospect of intimacy, aging, and even mortality can send shivers down their spine as these challenges threaten their carefully constructed image of perfection. Understanding these fears offers us a unique window into narcissism, shedding light on the intricate dynamics when dealing with such individuals. Consider watching another helpful video right here. If you find value in this video, like this video and subscribe to our channel.